2023 is one of the greatest years in gaming, so they keep telling me, because I can't stop playing old games. And I feel weird about it because I feel a little left out of the conversation. I would like to be a part of the conversation for Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, but I simply am not. Currently, my two games that I'm primarily playing right now are Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition, and I'm replaying Red Dead Redemption 2. So why is it that in one of the greatest years this medium has had, I can't seem to play the new games? I want to talk about the mental and practical struggles that have led to this. Starting with the practical, I think it's pretty easy, which is I have the same issue that many of you out there may have, which is that I don't have the money to play all of the new games. I've played some of them. I played Resident Evil 4 Remake earlier in the year. I've played Super Mario Wonder. But games like Spider-Man 2 would have been an incredible priority for me in the past. I mean, I went day one to get Spider-Man. I wore special Vans, like Vans the shoe, that are Spider-Man. Like, I wore them to GameStop. The GameStop guy made fun of me. So Spider-Man 2, would have been a huge priority for me, but instead I'm just kind of like, don't really need it. I can save the money. And I also spent the money that day on Super Mario Wonder because I was going on a trip, and I figured Mario Wonder would be better for the trip. Something like Baldur's Gate 3, though, this is getting the biggest buzz of the year, and yet I'm not a part of it. I love RPGs, not too experienced in CRPGs, but I definitely want to give it a try. And I especially love some of the immersive sim elements I'm hearing about Baldur's Gate 3. But for some reason, I'm just not pulling the trigger. I'm waiting for a sale. I'm waiting for a sale for one of the biggest games of the year. But again, it's practical. I just don't have the money for it all. I don't make that much money. Just got a dog. So I have priorities. And I also have so many games that I can still play. I still subscribe to Game Pass. I can play games through that. And I also have so many older games that I want to get to. That leads more into the mental side of things as to why I'm not doing it. And ever since in 2020, when I started the BNY Gaming podcast, I have always kind of felt the pressure to be a part of new releases. That felt like one of the prerequisites to having a gaming podcast. And while I still kind of believe that's true, I'm starting to think more and more that it is more compelling for me to follow the scent of what I think is interesting. And specifically right now, I think it's interesting to try this old beloved JRPG and replay one of the games that I consider to be one of my favorite of all time, one of the best of all time, and experience it in a way I never got to, in a way where I know what happens, and I don't want to solely focus on the story, and I want to really experience that open world in a way that I didn't really when I first played through it, because I largely mainlined it when I first went through it. Part of playing new games all the time is being in the pursuit of hidden gems. And I think for a short period, but a period nonetheless, I want to have a time where I'm not in pursuit of those. Everyone else can find them. I know that Baldur's Gate 3 is a gem. I'll play it when I get around to it. That seems to be the best way for me to handle things right now. I have had a lot going on personally that I won't get into on this video, but just being able to take a step back and take a deep breath and just focus on games that I want to play, just being able to do that has been something that puts me more at ease. I've been looking forward so much to coming home and playing Red Dead Redemption 2 these past few days. And that's a feeling that I don't always get with new games. Because with new games, I have the pressure of I really want to make progress in it before that next podcast so that I can have a new take, or I can finish it by then and I can have a definitive take. I just don't need it. Just don't need that pressure. I have this overwhelming obligation to be able to have an opinion on everything, pretty much. And I'm trying to free myself from that. And playing old video games has been the way to doing that in the short term.